Abba Jaan has become the big flashpoint in the run-up to the Uttar Pradesh elections after Yogi Adityanath used the jibe to hit out at appeasement politics. Everyone from farm union leaders to the Aam Aadmi Party have retorted with their own version of the Abba Jaan Bab, while Rakesh Tikait has termed Owaisi BJP's Chacha Jaan. The BJP has hit back, saying all the Bhai Jaans are now getting worried.
With big hopes of a grand entry, Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi has been camping in poll-bound Uttar Pradesh, flexing muscle and gamely playing the field in India's most hotly contested battlefield.
अगर मेरी बहन, मेरी माँ, मेरी बात को सुन रही है, तो कहेगी कि हाँ, ये बात सच है.
And now, after UP Chief Minister Yogi's Abba Jaan comment sparked UP's state of war, Owaisi has been anointed with his own new name by another high-profile player in the state.
ओवैसी नाम का इनका चाचा जान है, बीजेपी का चाचा जान, और आ चुका है उत्तर प्रदेश में. उसका सहारा लेंगे, उसको फुल आशीर्वाद है. वो गाली देगा, ये कोई मुकदमा दर्ज नहीं करेंगे.
The insinuation couldn't be more direct. That's farm protest leader Rakesh Tikait saying Owaisi is basically hand in glove with the BJP and that the mutual BJP-Owaisi hostility is simply a fixed match to polarize and benefit both. Never one to let a juicy barb go unanswered, here's what Owaisi's party retorted with.
2017 का जो चुनाव था विधानसभा का और 2019 का, इसमें आप भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए काम कर रहे थे और बीजेपी को जिता रहे थे, और पिछली सरकार को हरा रहे थे, बीजेपी को जिता रहे थे. 2022 के चुनाव में तय हो जाएगा कि राकेश टिकैत साहब बीजेपी की पिच पर बीजेपी के गेंद और बल्ले के साथ खेल रहे हैं.
There are still 6 months to go for the UP elections, but campaign heat has already been cranked up high.
बीजेपी का चाचा जान आ चुका है उत्तर प्रदेश में.
The Chacha Jaan bullet has been fired 2 days after Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath lit up the UP battlefield with his Abba Jaan comment.
मिलना है राशन. क्या ये राशन 2017 के पहले भी मिलता था? क्योंकि तब तो अब्बा जान कहने वाले राशन हजम कर जाते थे.
Owaisi, remember, is no stranger to being accused of being the BJP's B team. Several parties, including the Congress, the Trinamool and the RJD, have variously accused Owaisi of the same thing. The BJP, which has fended off the Abba Jaan controversy, is now bemused by the chain reaction it has triggered.
ओवैसी किसकी लैला है और कौन उनका मजनू है? अब्बा जान के बाद अब चाचा जान भी आ गए. अब चाचा जान के बाद सारे भाईजान परेशान. क्या आखिर 22 में हम करें क्या? जाएं तो जाएं कहां? ना अब्बा जान साफ कर रहे हैं, ना चाचा जान साफ कर रहे हैं. तो ये लैला मजनू के खेल में भाईजान परेशान.
अब्बा जान कहने वाले राशन हजम कर जाते थे.
So in 48 hours, we've seen Abba Jaan,
बीजेपी का चाचा जान आ चुका है उत्तर प्रदेश में.
then Chacha Jaan, and now Bhai Jaan erupt in Uttar Pradesh.
तो ये लैला मजनू के खेल में भाईजान परेशान.
Owaisi has proven to be a politician who relishes polarizing attacks and is certain to make a meal of the fresh assault from Rakesh Tikait. But this time the stakes are sky high. Owaisi has said his party, the AIMIM, will contest 100 out of the 403 seats in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly election, and has said his party is ready to hold talks with the Samajwadi Party and Mayawati's BSP for a possible alliance. As the war of words intensifies in political Pradesh, don't expect things to cool down anytime soon. Bureau Report, India Today.
From Abba Jaan to Chacha Jaan to Bhai Jaan to Ammi Jaan, will we see the political rhetoric in battleground Uttar Pradesh just start spiraling downwards? And what does this mean for the kind of electioneering that we are likely to see in the next few months? Because we're still about 5 months away. Joining me on this broadcast, I want to welcome Rajya Sabha MP of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Rakesh Sinha, squaring off against him. We have Rohan Gupta from the Congress, Ghanshyam Tiwari from the Samajwadi Party, Waris Pathan from the AIMIM. I know it looks 3 versus 1, but that's the way the fray is in Uttar Pradesh. Sharad Pradhan joins us, a veteran political journalist and commentator from Lucknow. And I want to go across first to Rakesh Sinha, because it's the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath who started out with Abba Jaan, which would seem to be, in some senses, without saying so, an attack on the alleged appeasement politics of the Samajwadi Party government. But that's also, in some senses, a dog whistle to the minority community. We're still a long distance away from the assembly elections. If the BJP is so confident about its development work, about your track record in the last 4.5 years, then why is the election rhetoric already taking such a communal turn? Rakesh Sinha.
You know, Abba Jaan is literary meaning is father. If someone is attacking tumhara baap, tumhara pita, so does it mean that they are attacking Hindus? In no way he has attacked a particular community. If you are communalizing the language, then nobody can help, because the Congress party, Samajwadi party have no other way to survive except the communal polarization. And they are doing very good way in the past. Now Yogi ji has stopped it. But he has stopped it because there are reasons, Rahul. I am not going to debate and discourse all these communal, because this communalism is another stage in Uttar Pradesh before Yogi. That was a communal gundas. They were not only communalists, but they were gundas. 150 illegal slaughterhouses were closed down. And 80 crore rupees seized from the people who were doing the illegal cattle trading. I am coming to the positive aspects. You know, the Uttar Pradesh has reached to the stage, and after the completion of some expressways, 1,700 kilometer expressway, that was the highest in the country. The state which was without the infrastructure is now the full of this infrastructure, is the highest. The GDP, when Samajwadi Party...
I want to hold you for a second to make the point, Rakesh Sinha, that surely even you don't believe when you say that this has nothing to do with communalism, that the Abba Jaan that the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister is referring to is a pot shot at the minority community.
I'm coming to that.
Or those who are using the minority community for their own appeasement politics.
No, I am coming to that. 10.9 lakh crore GDP in 2015-16. Now it is 19.848 lakh crore. So it is just double. Now the question of what Yogi ji said, if Abba Jaan is a region for polarization, that I don't know what kind of minorities they are. Abba Jaan, I can use it my own family Abba Jaan. Why you say that Abba Jaan is a Muslim thing? Why you call the Urdu word is identified the Muslims? This is the tragedy of Indian secularism. That you created a ghetto of language, you created a ghetto of religion, you created a ghetto of the development. Development means the minority development. The infrastructure means the minority areas infrastructure. Here is the question of people. If they are doing the gundaism, there was a fine on the people. It was not the Muslim and Hindu. Anybody who is using the colonial way of democracy, that
Okay, so you make an interesting argument, and I want to put that question to Waris Pathan. You're calling this the tragedy of pseudo-secularism politics, that it is the communal harmony that Yogi Adityanath wishes to stand for, that he's using Urdu phraseology, that this has absolutely nothing to do with dog whistles or trying to vitiate the communal atmosphere before the assembly elections. Waris Pathan.
Well, this is dog whistle policy, Rahul. Nothing has changed since 2017. Earlier it was Shamshan Kabristan, and now it is Abba Jaan, Ammi Jaan, Chacha Jaan, Bhai Jaan, then Popsi, Dad, Mom. Everything will come. Why these phrases, why these rhetorics are being used? Because people of the country, especially the Uttar Pradesh people, are asking questions to Yogi that what have you done for the development? He does not have any answer to show. He does not know what to do. With the second COVID wave, we saw the corpses near the Ganga Ghats and the dogs eating the corpses. He does not have the answer why this happened. He does not have the answer for 114 children who died in Firozabad yesterday, the day before yesterday, for lack of medical facilities. Had Yogi done any development work in the last 4.5 years, these things he would not have said. But now, and whose appeasement is he talking about? Minority. And in Rahul, even today, the dropout rate amongst the Muslims is the highest. Kindly see, there are no schools and colleges in the Muslim-dominated area. And what is he talking about? The Prime Minister, just now Rakesh was talking that what the centre has done, what we have done for development. The Prime Minister, Ayog Yojana Rural, 2017, the 2017 and 18 data shows that 7,50,000 houses were given to our non-Muslim Hindu and brothers. How many were given to the Muslims? Only 10. Why? Then what happens to the rhetorics? Jumla sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka vishwas. What happens to that?
Rakesh Sinha, the AIMIM makes the argument that it's because your government's record on development can be questioned, because you weren't able to prevent situations like having bodies floating in the Ganga or corpses buried in the sands, which is why so early in the election campaign you are having to use communalizing rhetoric.
You know, Rahul, the empirical facts can't be changed by our polemical debate. I said that in 2015-16 the GDP was, state GDP was 10.9 lakh crore. Now it is 19.48 lakh crore. Does it mean that a state has not developed? Who says? Even the World Bank is praising the Uttar Pradesh. It is now the second, after the Maharashtra, it has second highest GDP. It even surged ahead the industrialized state like Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. And you are saying that there is no development. Their development means the development of the Muslim vote bank. Here the real bank is developing, not the Muslim vote bank. They are the people who wants to divide the country. They are the people who wants to divide the people. We want to see the people as one people, one nation. It is not a question of Hindus and Muslims. Prime Minister's Ayushman Yojana is reaching to every Hindu and Muslim. You know, the gas cylinder is reaching, LPG cylinder is reaching to every Hindu and Muslim. Nobody is questioning. That's why there is a support from the Muslim women to Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. You go to the Muslim area and talk to the Muslim women. Despite the patriarchy, ultra-patriotic and religious patriarchy domination, the women come forward and support Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. If Prime Minister visits Aligarh, that becomes communal, because Aligarh is a monopoly of the some people. They say that Aligarh means Aligarh Muslim University. If another university is coming, Mahendra Pratap Singh's name university is coming, he was a great freedom fighter, then it was a question that BJP is doing electoral polarization. If Yogi ji, I am telling you the expressways, I was talking, nobody can deny the fact that Uttar Pradesh has the highest expressways. I am giving the data that Bundelkhand expressways, then Gorakhpur link, then Ganga expressways. These are all the region for development. The tourists
these are still in the works. Many of these are in the works, and some of them are running behind schedule.
Just one sentence.
That is also a fact. It's not as if these expressways are ready.
Sir, one sentence.
Yes, partly delayed on account of the pandemic, but they're not ready on time.
One sentence, sir. 23.7 crore tourists visited Uttar Pradesh in 2018-19. It is more than 1 crore more than the entire population of Uttar Pradesh. If law and order is not good, if the state is not prospering, if the religious tourism is not increasing, if the monuments are not being safeguarded and projected for the tourism, then why tourists are coming?
Okay, the fear, Ghanshyam Tiwari, from the perspective of a party like the Samajwadi Party, is that in this battle between Yogi and Owaisi, this battle between Abba Jaan and Chacha Jaan, parties like yours and the BSP could get edged out of the electoral discourse, where it becomes more and more Abba Jaan versus Chacha Jaan, and then, you know, whether you want to call him Akhilesh or Bhaijan is wondering what cycle he's supposed to ride.
Good evening, Rahul, to you, your viewers and my fellow co-panelists. I just read a couple of headlines from India Today itself. May 31, Uttar Pradesh, India Today.in reports bodies buried in sand along river bank start floating in Ganga. Just a few days back, India Today reported BJP built social media campaign on anti-Taliban sentiments in Uttar Pradesh. On the same day, Economic Times carries a front page story of how 30% of messages circulating in Uttar Pradesh on BJP's social media campaign are on Taliban. Here is Bharatiya Janata Party's manifesto of the Sankalp Patra. Here it is. And I'll just say two lines from this manifesto. The first two lines that they mention, that this is a Yug Parivartan, this is 2070. They wanted a Yug Parivartan for Vikas and Garib. And the final line is, that we are doing 9 sankalps for you. Those 9 sankalps were around jobs, 70 lakh jobs. The Manrega demand in Uttar Pradesh has doubled to 1.56 crore. This is just Uttar Pradesh. When they promised 1 crore jobs last year, they have not fulfilled a single promise. So as a result, if you look at the ADR report of Uttar Pradesh cabinet of 2017, there are 20 ministers, 45%, who have criminal charges. At least 4 ministers, that includes the chief minister, the deputy chief minister, and 2 other ministers who have charges on religious animosity. There are other charges on attempt to murder. As a result, this government has nothing to offer. They don't care about the children who are dying. Barely a few kilometers from where the Prime Minister spoke and the Chief Minister spoke, kids are dying. They did not have a single word for those children. So I want to speak in the same coin. बच्चों की मौत से बेफिक्र यमराज के दूतों जैसा शासन दे रहे हैं, माँ बाप बिलख बिलख कर रो रहे हैं, मौत के सौदागर भड़काऊ भाषण दे रहे हैं, शमशान कब्रिस्तान पाकिस्तान अफगानिस्तान तालिबान पर बहकाकर सांप्रदायिक जहर में मिलाकर रंग दे रहे हैं, अब्बा जान अम्मी जान अब्बा हुजूर माँ पापा जैसे खूबसूरत रिश्तों को तार तार करके ढोंगी पाखंडी जनता को भाषण दे रहे हैं. This is the reality. They don't have anything to offer. Adityanath did not rise in politics on the message of development harmony. But mark my words, the Uttar Pradesh election is about employment. It is about basic development of infrastructure in this, which this document that lies in the dustbin, not one page is fulfilled. This document is what people will ask questions on, and because they don't have an answer, they will resort to more and more politics. But when people have seen kids dying, parents crying, bodies floating, a chief minister laughing, and a politics of such toxicity and crime, people are not going to wait. They are waiting with anger and firm commitment that they want to boot out these people who have given bured into every family in Uttar Pradesh.
Sharad Pradhan, is this along expected lines that in a state like Uttar Pradesh ahead of the elections in February, March, it's only likely to get communal, or do you think it's happened much early in the day? And this is a bit unexpected. And what do you think of Rakesh Sinha saying it's actually evidence of communal harmony that the Chief Minister is going to Aligarh, that he's referring to Urdu phraseology? It doesn't suggest his intent is communal. Sharad Pradhan.
I never expected Rakesh Sinha to be so naive as to not know. So obviously he's trying to twist facts and build his own narrative, which RSS people are used to be doing. Anyway, I'm not surprised at this, and considering that Yogi Adityanath's politics has been all about communal, flaring up communal issues, forging a divide between Hindus and Muslims, and doing it very blatantly. That his entire, if you see his journey, that is how he has done it. So it's not a surprise at all. And right from the beginning, from the time he took over as Chief Minister, he started with changing names of cities which had any kind of Islamic connotation. And sometimes not even that, simply because it was there without knowing the history of the name behind the name, he did it. So now what he is doing, and by raising this, as you rightly pointed out, and which Mr. Sinha is very strangely talking about, Abba Jaan is a reference simply like any other reference to a father. So it's laughable. The manner in which he should go back into what Yogi Adityanath said, he very clearly said, कि राशन वो सब खा जाते थे जो अब्बा जान कहते हैं. What else is it except they're saying that Muslims were eating up all the ration, or there was any kind of special ration for Muslims? I don't know of any in the entire history of the state. I don't know of any time. There might have been other cases of appeasement of Muslims by different parties, but I have never heard of any special ration being given to Muslims or exclusive ration being given to Muslims. So it is, their whole, they build the narrative on complete lies, which is very unfortunate. You don't expect the Chief Minister to be building narratives on lies.
Let Rakesh Sinha respond to it, that if you look at the track record of Yogi Adityanath in his time as Member of Parliament before becoming Chief Minister, he was very openly communally partisan. It's only as Chief Minister that he's tried to temperate himself, become a more moderate version of his own previous self, and therefore, as elections come round the corner, as the pressure to perform and win increases, this is the most likely, the most obvious direction for him to head in.
Rahul, before answering that question, I think that on Indian television, some people are abusing the very respectable terminology of political analyst. If you are a political analyst, that does not mean you are an anti-RSS, anti-BJP thinker. So kindly use the term for people like Pradhan, anti-BJP, anti-Yogi analyst. You are a journalist. You have a balanced view, and you are just trying to. No. Don't laugh. This is not. We are millions of viewers. Rahul Kanwal show is different from other show. It is fact-based, logic-based, and he is a very impartial journalist. I am telling you, you may be laughing, but millions of people are watching. I use three things. Nobody is contesting that. GDP has doubled since 2015-16 to 2018-19. Your watch has stopped during the COVID regime. That was an unusual phase in the human history. When the Trump administration failed, and you are talking about that, Narendra Modi ji has been most successful. On the question of COVID issue, entire world is praising. But in India, there are certain people who are bound to criticize Narendra Modi, who are bound to criticize Yogi Adityanath. Yogi Adityanath, since the formation of Uttar Pradesh, the most honest chief minister in the history of Uttar Pradesh. You can't compare him, even the chief minister like Govind Vallabh Pant and others. There have been accusations, that right or wrong. There were accusations against Rafi Ahmad Kidwai, who was a minister from Uttar Pradesh, close to Jawaharlal Nehru, even G.V. Pant and others. But Yogi Adityanath, no accusation. Okay. And before becoming the chief minister, he was the member of parliament. Just you go through his parliamentary question and parliamentary speeches. All the questions were on diseases, on all the secular democratic issues. You go through, these are the facts. You believe in making a perception and politics of perception. Look, India is surging ahead. New generation is talking in terms of development. And Narendra Modi ji, the slogan is the development. Sabka saath, sabka vishwas. But you people, Owaisi is number one communalist, and you are the B team of communalism.
Okay, hold that thought. Because in this debate about communalism, Rahul Gandhi has now jumped in as well. He is accusing the BJP of indulging in dharam ki dalali. Speaking at a Mahila Congress event, Rahul declared that the BJP is insulting Hindu goddesses and that the party practices what he called fake Hindutva. The BJP is demanding an apology from Rahul Gandhi and asking, why does Rahul hate Hindus so much?
ये झूठे हिंदू हैं, ये हिंदू धर्म का प्रयोग करते हैं, ये धर्म की दलाली करते हैं.
The cycle of religious politics continues.
अब्बा जान कहे.
After Abba Jaan and Bhai Jaan Babs comes Dharm ki Dalali.
ये किस प्रकार के हिंदू हैं? ये झूठे हिंदू हैं. ये हिंदू धर्म का प्रयोग करते हैं, ये धर्म की दलाली करते हैं, मगर ये हिंदू नहीं है.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi has accused the Bharatiya Janata Party of playing the Hindutva card ahead of the Uttar Pradesh Assembly polls. Speaking at the Congress Women's Cell Foundation Day event in Delhi, the Gandhi sign tore into the BJP.
बीजेपी के लोग कहते हैं कि वो हिंदू पार्टी. तो अगर महात्मा गांधी ने हिंदू धर्म को समझा, तो आरएसएस की विचारधारा ने उस हिंदू के छाती में 3 गोली क्यों मारी?
Rahul did not stop at that. He went on to accuse the BJP of wrecking the economy and diminishing goddess Lakshmi.
वो अपने आप को हिंदू पार्टी कहते हैं और पूरे देश में लक्ष्मी और दुर्गा पर आक्रमण करते हैं. जहां ये जाते हैं, कहीं लक्ष्मी को मारते हैं, कहीं दुर्गा को मारते हैं, और फिर कहते हैं हम हिंदू हैं.
या हम हिंदुस्तान को भी.
The BJP took no time to strike back.
कांग्रेस पार्टी और राहुल गांधी है, उनको हिंदू धर्म से इस प्रकार का वैमनस्य क्यों है? क्योंकि ये वही कांग्रेस पार्टी है जो भगवान श्री राम के अस्तित्व में विश्वास नहीं करती है. ये वही कांग्रेस पार्टी है जो हिंदू आतंकवाद जैसे घिनौने शब्द का प्रयोग करती है.
While Rahul Gandhi has often attacked the BJP over its Hindutva politics, the Congress MP too has practiced soft Hindutva by wearing his religion on his sleeve.
मेरा परिवार भी
Kashmiri Pandit.
Rahul Gandhi is attacking BJP on its own turf, questioning its Hindu credentials. But will this strategy work or will it backfire in the run-up to the assembly polls due next year and 2024, in which temple politics will be a dominant poll plank? With camera person Hitesh, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
So you've got Bhai Jaan, Chacha Jaan, Amma Jaan, Ammi Jaan, and now in the midst of all of this, you've got Rahul Gandhi jumping in and saying that this is Dharam ki Dalali. Now, the problem with this approach, Rohan Gupta, is that it could potentially electorally backfire. You can question, the means employed by Owaisi and Yogi Adityanath, but now the BJP will be out asking that question, why is Rahul anti-Hindu? And in that, you run the risk of antagonizing a majority of the voters of Uttar Pradesh.
Rahul, first of all, the UP BJP government, which has to borrow the proof of their vikas from the other state, I think they have no option but to go back to Smashan, Kabristan and Abba Jaan. I was listening to all other panelists. See, basically, Rahul, if they have done any kind of vikas in Uttar Pradesh, you tell me why there is a reason for them to go back to this Hindu-Muslim thing. Because obviously they have not done any vikas. And now when they are talking about Hindus, you tell me the farmers who are suffering from the policies of BJP, there are no Hindus in that. The youth which has been unemployed, there are no Hindus in that. Why he is not remembering Unnao? Why he is not remembering Hathras? Were the women not Hindus? So I think why Rahul Gandhi ji told this is because they are doing politics in name of Hindus without giving anything to them. When Rahul Gandhi ji was in Jammu Kashmir, he spoke about Kashmiri Pandit. Why any of the spokespersons which are normally unemployed couldn't go back to press room and address the press? Because they had no courage. They had done politics in name of Kashmiri Pandit for so many years in Kashmir, where the original Kashmir Pandit Rahul Gandhi goes and asks the questions. They had no answers. Because now they know that this communal agenda is being shattered now. You cannot use the same agenda narrative again and again, Rahul. Let me tell you, even if they try this time, out of their frustration, out of their compulsion, they will not be successful. Because all sects of the society, whether it is farmers, youth, women, children, everybody, small businessmen, everybody has suffered because of the BJP's politics. What they have done for Hindus, let me ask, I am Hindu. Everybody in COVID, have they saved Hindus and they have not saved others? No. Everybody has suffered because of their policies. The government is elected for the governments and not to spread the head politics. This is the BJP's
You're making the point that communal politics doesn't work. It worked in 2017 and before that in 2014. But I'm not so sure, because especially in a state like Uttar Pradesh, unlike say a Bihar, where communal politics historically hasn't been as successful. In Uttar Pradesh, Sharad Pradhan, we've seen that communal politics is or has been in past elections an effective tool to mobilize your vote bank on both sides. Rohan Gupta's argument or his hope is that because of the COVID pandemic, because of the job and employment situation, it won't be the case this time. Do you think that's a flawed argument given Uttar Pradesh's dynamics?
I fully agree with you, and the fact of the matter is that because the BJP government led by Yogi Adityanath failed miserably in handling the COVID-2 situation, and building all kinds of false, making all kinds of tall false claims, this is the best way they can override the pangs that the people have suffered on account of mismanagement of the COVID situation. And that is the, and they were also trying to build another narrative, which even the Prime Minister echoed, was that nobody died of shortage of oxygen. Now, only a blind and deaf person in Uttar Pradesh will believe that to be true. But they are going on bombarding people with that information. And they are also making this claim that Yogi Adityanath went out in the open during the COVID situation. Well, after COVID was on the wane, then only Yogi
not really. That's not a fair assessment, Sharad, because soon after he personally recovered from COVID, while the COVID wave was still very strong, he came out.
COVID was on the wane.
Not really, sir. He came out much more than other chief ministers. Many chief ministers locked themselves up, didn't leave. So you have to be fair. While what is wrong, what is right also needs to be appreciated. He was more out on the ground than other chief ministers. That's also a fact, sir.
That may be true, but let me tell you that to claim and to spread around the word that the bodies that were being buried on the banks of the river was paramparagat, was a tradition. which is not true. Why? What is happening to the tradition now? Why aren't people burying the bodies now? That is a complete falsehood.
Now, Rakesh Sinha, the argument that's being made is that because of the pandemic, because of the current level of unemployment, the state of the economy, that this communal politics may not work in 2022 in quite the way that it did in elections gone by. Is that a concern, that the pandemic, the hurt, the pain, the death, the anguish is still so fresh that people would weigh that in their electoral decisions?
We are committed to contest the election on the ground of development and only development. As Prime Minister time and again declared that development is our plank and we will contest the election on that plank. Now I am coming to Rahul Gandhi's remark. That is very significant. But I am not surprised, because Rahul Gandhi has been groomed and indoctrinated in anti-Hindu atmosphere of his dynasty. And that's why he is speaking something which shows that he is an ideologically illiterate person. He does not understand the meaning of ideas, meaning of dharma. And I am asking Rahul Gandhi, and Rahul Gupta is his representative, how much he donated to Ram temple construction. Can he tell Rahul Gupta to the viewers of India Today? Has he contributed 101 rupees? His dynasty was bound to destroy Ram Setu. And the government has given the affidavit that Ram was a mythical figure. Without Ram, India cannot be imagined. Hindus can't be imagined. Ram is our Purushottam Maryada. And Bhagwan Ram is not being worshipped only in India, he is a cultural figure, even in the Muslim countries. But here is a great Hindu, Rahul Gandhi, who claims he is a Hinduness, a Janu on his coat. He claims that he is a real Hindu and BJP is a fake Hindu. I would request him to go Ayodhya, worship Bhagwan Ram. But centrality of Congress politics, this dynasty politics is not the dharma, but power, dharma of power. I was not supposed to say that, but now I am compelled to tell, because the way he is making remark on RSS, BJP, now I am asking a question to Rohan Gupta. His immediate grandfather was, who was his immediate grandfather? Can Rohan Gupta say Firoz Gandhi? Have you ever heard, Rahul, that Rahul Gandhi had paid a tribute to Firoz Gandhi? Why? Such a kind of nasty politics, just for the sake of power, you are dividing the family.
Okay, let Rohan Gupta respond.
Gulf between Hindus and Sikhs, how
much money has Rahul Gandhi contributed to the Ayodhya Ram temple?
Rohan Gandhi to alienate Hindus.
Okay, Rohan
Gupta. He is being guided by Vatican. He is being guided by Vatican. Not guided by the Indian people's sentiment.
Rahul, first of all, what Mr. Rakesh Sinha told about Abba Jaan argument, even if he ask his UP CM, he will not agree with them. What kind of lame excuse he has been giving? He is just spreading the head. See, for us, religion is the matter of faith and not politics. We don't have to answer your questions. We know what we are. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, when he goes to Vaishno Devi, why you have not praised? Why you were silent? When Mr. Rahul Gandhi talked about Kashmiri Pandits, why you were silent? Because you knew that your Hindutva politics is getting shattered. Mr. Rakesh Sinha, now this country knows that BJP
after genocide you are praising Kashmiri Pandits. You were the responsible for the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits. You were responsible for the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits.
Corona, you have miserably failed. You have no option, because hatred politics is the only way you can survive your power.
Now the problem, Waris Pathan, from the AIMIM's perspective, just one second. The problem for Owaisi's party in all of this is that you've got one second, Ron, is that you've got the SP, the BSP and the Congress, for what it's worth, on the one side, and you've got BJP and AIMIM on the same side of the communal divide. I mean, representing different sides, but on the same side of the communal divide. And that could become problematic. As this perception grows, or as these charges grow, that your party is the Chacha Jaan of the BJP, as this seeps down to the towns and villages of Uttar Pradesh, it could, just prick the AIMIM balloon in Uttar Pradesh, which you're trying to craft.
Well, Rahul, I'll just make 2-3 quick points. Just allow me some few seconds. See, there is a BJP on one side, there is Congress, Samajwadi and the BSP on the other side. And let me tell you, they both are two sides of the same coin. Earlier, Yogi's Abba Jaan, Modi, said, I am a bigger Hindu. Then Rahul Gandhi said, I am a Janadaru Hindu. Who was playing the communal politics that time? Now they are doing this Brahman Sammelan. Who is playing majoritarian politicism then? Who is playing the politics of Jan Ashirwad Yatra? So let me tell you, the BJP's monopoly is politics of communalism, politics of majoritarianism, politics of polarization and politics of hatred. They survive only on that. They took the votes in the name of Ram. They came to power in the name of Ram. They formed the mandir in the name of Ram. They formed a trust, and now they have cheated the people of the country in the name of the trust. This is what the BJP is. That is why I say they are both of them are two sides of the same coin.
Would you accept, Rakesh Sinha,
don't trust them.
that the
and even in here,
more
what politics
Owaisi
is being played by the, what about development? Is anybody talking about development? Is Rahul Gandhi talking about development? What
the
has the
more
Congress got
visible
to do in
his
UP? Nothing.
campaign,
They
the
have
more
lost their roots in
traction he
UP.
generates, the better it is for the BJP. So even if you don't officially call him your B team, the fact is the more Muslims polarize in favor or rally around Owaisi, it's the BJP that's laughing its way to the bank or the hustings and is very happy with the way it goes. Rakesh Sinha?
You know, the Hindus are not a communal community. They don't vote. The Hindus don't vote on the basis of communalism. They decide the things on the basis of development. They decide the things on the basis of socio-economic parameters. And
don't make us laugh, Mr. Rakesh.
You laugh because you would laugh at me. You just listen to me. You just see the politics in Hyderabad.
No, one point you forgot, Rakesh Sinha. Yogi's minister has placed a report before the
and I credit them.
No, this is not right. Varis Pathan, you've spoken. Varis Pathan, you've spoken. Please allow Rakesh Sinha to complete. Rakesh ji, go ahead.
Rahul, I am repeating one question to Varis Pathan. He has not been answering on any TV channel. I hope that you would compel him to at least answer it in black and white. Qasim Rizvi was the founder of he was the Rajakar leader. He was founder of his party AIMIM, which name has been nomenclature has been changed. He was forced by the Congress government. He was 1 decade in jail. He was forced by the Congress government. He was released from the jail on the condition to migrate Pakistan. He handed over his party to the grandfather of Owaisi. Does he consider Qasim Rizvi was an anti-national, pro-Pakistan element who was a founder of the party? Will he condemn at India Today TV channel in your show, or he will escape by saying abusing RSS and BJP? You know, they are the communalists. There is a competition between BSP, SP and Congress.
You're harking back to the role of
the other side for the Muslim vote bank. We are not the party of that.
Okay, you're harking back to the role that Owaisi's relatives played at the time of the Indian partition or at the time of India's independence, and that doesn't cover itself with glory. But can that be held up? But that's an important question that will change Owaisi and the AIMIM as they try and make dents in Uttar Pradesh. Varis Pathan, I'm out of time. Final response, please.
Rahul.
Well, let me tell you, this All India Majlis said Ittihadul Muslimin is the party of Sultan Owaisi. The party which is talking about has already left India. We are the people who have rejected the two-nation theory of Jinnah, and we are living in our country by birth and by choice. So forget about Qasim Rizvi and all. That Majlis is over. This Majlis belongs to Sultan Salahuddin Owaisi and Asaduddin Owaisi. And we are fighting for development. We are fighting to save the constitution. We are fighting to safeguard the rights of the minorities, of whom we want to create leadership amongst the Muslims also. Sir, if you 60, 70 years, the so-called secular parties took our votes in the name of secularism, and what have they done for the betterment of the Muslims?
So I'm out of time.
The among the Muslims is the highest. There are no schools and colleges for the Muslims.
Will play itself out in the days, weeks, and months to come. I'd rather that we focus on development, on the highways that the BJP government claims it's built, questions about what's happening on the ground in terms of industry. But Abba Jaan, Chacha Jaan, Bhai Jaan, Ammi Jaan is one of the narratives that will play itself out inevitably in Uttar Pradesh. We'll track this closely.